Hello, my name's Zoe Harcum. I'm author of The Harcum Diet. I'm making 3 video clips today talking about the 3 medical conditions that cause insatiable food cravings. You're not greedy or weak-willed. There are 3 medical conditions that make you overeat when all you want is to be slim. This video clip is about food intolerance. We're not talking about food allergy. That's the life-threatening condition where people are often allergic to things like nuts or shellfish or strawberries. If you're allergic to a food, you will know about it and you simply have to avoid that for the rest of your life. It is life-threatening. Food intolerance literally means becoming intolerant to a particular food, and that happens quite simply if you eat too much of it and too often. When you think about our typical diet in the Western world, we eat for breakfast perhaps cereal and milk, that's wheat, dairy and often sugar. For lunch we may have a cheese sandwich with perhaps a confectionery bar or a bag of crisps. Again, we've had wheat, dairy and probably sugar. And for tea we may have a bowl of pasta, we may have a dessert afterwards with sugar in it, and most likely again we've had wheat, dairy and sugar. You start to realise that we eat so few foods in the Western world that our chances of becoming intolerant to them is actually very, very high. So what causes food intolerance? Quite simply eating too much of the same thing too often. And if you become intolerant to particular food, you're going to start suffering symptoms of intolerance. Now the symptoms are many and varied, and you can have a look on my website, The Harcum Diet, and there's a little questionnaire for you to fill in to see if you've got food intolerance. But the symptoms can be anything from feeling foggy, spaced out, like you're sleepwalking, to physical symptoms of headaches, bloating, feeling very different after eating a meal to how you felt before it, really quite uncomfortable, not well, and a whole mood change after eating a particular meal that just shouldn't happen. You should feel as good after a meal, if not better, as you do before eating something. So if you find there's something that you're eating every day, that if I said to you, you've got to give that up, you would beg me not to make you give that up. I'm sorry to say, but that is the thing that you're intolerant to. Now the good news is, it takes no more than 4 days for any substance to pass entirely through your body, and once you rid your body of the substance that you're intolerant to, the cravings go with it. So if I'm telling you now, please give up wheat, which means giving up bread, pasta, cereal, beer, pizza, cakes, biscuits, all the other things that have got wheat in them, you have to trust me, in 4 or 5 days you won't crave wheat anymore, because we can get rid of those cravings throughout your body. So how do you get rid of food intolerance? Well, quite simply, you have to stop eating the thing that you're intolerant to, and you only have to stop eating it for 4 or 5 days, which is where phase 1 of the Harcum Diet came about. Phase 1 is absolutely perfect for the 3 medical conditions that cause insatiable food cravings. Phase 1 is the perfect diet for candida and food intolerance and hypoglycemia. So follow phase 1 for 5 days and you will eliminate the food intolerances from your diet. There's loads of tips then in the Harcum Diet book on how to make sure you don't start those food intolerances coming back. You will get to the point that you can eat your favourite foods again, but there'll be very specific advice as to how often you eat them and what you eat with what to make sure that those food cravings never return. And believe me, it's a small price to pay for being slim, fit, healthy, rid of all those awful symptoms of food intolerance, to have to give up a couple of those foods and then learn how to eat them safely afterwards. So thank you very much for listening. We will now move on to the 3rd medical condition, which will be hypoglycemia.